Today I'm thrilled to share with you two incredibly strange but absolutely true stories. I'm Joe, an ex-police officer and the founder of CaseDog.io, where I create immersive murder case files, so do check it out. On YouTube I release content 4 to 5 times a week, so don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Now let's dive into today's stories. Our first story takes us to a little rural spot in southern China called Pingyang Township. Picture a small community, modest homes, and farmland stretching around a few scattered villages. It's the kind of place where everyone knows everyone else and word spreads quickly. One afternoon in the spring of 1990, a mother was tidying her sitting room. At first, it all seemed calm, but then she heard her 3-year-old twin daughters crying. Now, these two were normally as quiet as church mice. They rarely made a peep. So hearing them bawling so suddenly put her on high alert. She rushed to their crib, expecting to find that one of them had hurt herself, but both girls were fine, just upset for no obvious reason. After a bit of cuddling, they calmed down and went straight back to their usual routine of dozing off. Strange, yes, but things were about to get much stranger. A few days later, the mother was carrying on with her housework when she passed by the girl's bedroom. She stopped because she realized the twins, who usually said absolutely nothing, were having a full-blown conversation. They weren't just babbling random words, they were chatting like two adults about people and places in a different village. Most parents would be ringing a doctor if they heard their previously silent toddlers uttering advanced sentences about unfamiliar locations. But this mother lived in Pingyang, where a rather peculiar belief holds strong, where over 100 residents claim they're reincarnations of people who died under tragic circumstances, and the rest of the community believes them without question. So, for the mother, her daughter's odd conversation suddenly made sense. If they were talking about people and events they should have no knowledge of, it could mean they were reborn spirits. She spread the news, and before long, a man and a woman showed up at her doorstep. The moment the twins saw these strangers, one of them declared, "That's my mum and dad from before," and then launched into a detailed story about how, in the past, she and the other twin had been best friends, not sisters, and had taken their own lives. The details the twins provided were far too specific for children who had never visited the village. When the confused mother asked if any of this was accurate, the couple confirmed it all. They even recognized information only their deceased teenage daughters would have known. Later, the twins explained their former silence. They'd been trying to hide their reincarnation and spent most of the time asleep because they were dreaming of their past lives, which they still missed. To this day, nobody can logically explain how these toddlers had such precise details about complete strangers from a place they had never even been to. In Pingyang, however, it's simply accepted as another bizarre instance of reincarnation among many. Our next story takes us to Eagle Creek in Arizona in the year 1883. Imagine a harsh, dusty landscape with only the odd cabin. Settlers clung together for safety, and it was in one such farmhouse that two sisters, Sarah and Elizabeth, lived with their families. One afternoon, Elizabeth popped outside to fetch water, while Sarah stayed in the house tidying and minding the children. All of a sudden, their usually docile dogs began barking uncontrollably toward a big standing mound near the property. Sensing trouble, Sarah stepped onto the porch and spotted something she could only describe as monstrous, a towering red-furred creature lumbering over the rise. On its back was what appeared to be a man, but his face was ghastly, misshapen, and his eyes seemed to be hollow sockets. Convinced she was seeing the devil itself, Sarah bolted indoors, barricaded the door, and huddled the children close. Just as she was trying to steady her nerves, she heard the most horrible scream echo from somewhere outside. She was certain it was Elizabeth. Hours later, there was no sign of her sister. When Sarah's husband and brother-in-law arrived and heard the story, they grabbed their rifles and rushed out to the spring. There, they found poor Elizabeth lying on the ground, trampled to death by something large. The local coroner noted the hoofprints were far too big to be a horse, yet Sarah's claim that the devil did it left him scratching his head. He recorded the case as the death as being unknown. Before long, talk of the red ghost spread across Arizona. People claimed to spot it wandering in the dark, and campfire tales told of campers waking to find their tents battered by giant hoof prints. One unlucky cowboy managed to lasso it, only for the beast to gallop away so fiercely that he nearly was dragged to his end. Finally, after 10 years of the death of Elizabeth, a farmer fired a shot at the creature when it appeared in his turnip patch. As he approached its fallen body, he realized the red ghost was actually a camel. Yes, a camel, brought over to the American West to haul supplies before it escaped. The so-called devil riding it turned out to be a tragic, decomposing human corpse still strapped to the camel's back. With time and exposure, the body had become warped and horrifying, giving the impression of a demonic rider with no eyes. Thus, the legend of the Red Ghost was born from a sad, random accident that led to a lone camel to roam the plains with a dead man fixed to its saddle. So there you have two unsettling mysteries. Twins who might have carried on lives from the past, and a demonic legend that turned out to be far more tragic and far more earthly than anyone imagined. Thanks for tuning in. If you found this story as intriguing as I did, give that like button a gentle nudge, subscribe for more eerie investigations, and switch on notifications so you never miss a moment. See you in the next video.